Negative reinforcement. Not all control is punishment. Sometimes it's relief. Negative reinforcement works like this. They make your world uncomfortable, then remove the pain when you comply. You think you're winning, but you're being trained. The brain is wired to avoid discomfort. So when obedience brings peace, disobedience begins to feel like danger. A child screams in a store until the parent gives in. The tantrum ends, peace returns. The brain learns obedience equals relief. Next time, the child screams louder. A toxic partner gives you the silent treatment until you apologize. You finally do. Not because you're wrong, but because you crave peace. And peace becomes submission. A boss buries you in deadlines until you work overtime. Then the pressure lifts. You learn that overworking is survival. They don't have to threaten you anymore. You'll exhaust yourself willingly. Even politics runs on this cycle. Restrictions appear, then ease, but only if you obey. You're made to feel thankful for the return of basic freedoms. That's not progress, that's conditioning. Negative reinforcement creates obedience by offering temporary mercy. It teaches you that resistance equals pain, so you surrender before the punishment even arrives. To break free, you must face discomfort without bending to it. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I want to, or because I'm afraid not to? Every time you choose peace over self-respect, you teach your brain that submission is safety. And that's how freedom dies, not with violence, but with relief. False flattery. They don't always control through fear. Sometimes they do it through praise. False flattery is poison dressed as honey. It sounds like love, but it tastes like manipulation. A smile, a compliment, a perfectly timed "you're amazing," and suddenly your guard drops. When someone praises you, your brain releases dopamine. You feel warm, accepted, seen. And in that chemical haze, you stop asking questions. Manipulators know this. They use compliments like keys, unlocking trust, access, obedience. A salesman says, "You look like someone who knows value." You feel intelligent and buy faster. A manager tells you, "You're the backbone of this team," right before overloading you with work. A partner calls you perfect, then watches as you bend over backwards to stay perfect. It's not appreciation, it's a leash. In politics, in workplaces, even in love, flattery creates loyalty faster than fear ever could. It feels like empowerment, but it's dependency. Because once you rely on someone's praise to feel worthy, you'll do anything to keep it. The most dangerous praise is the one you want to believe. That's why it works. Flattery feeds the ego, and the ego is always hungry. To defend yourself, notice when praise appears before a request. Ask, is this appreciation or manipulation? Real compliments are specific and balanced. False flattery is vague, exaggerated, and convenient. When you know your worth, their words lose power. Because no one can bribe a mind that's already full. Contrast principle. The human mind doesn't judge things by truth, it judges by comparison. That's how they fool you. They show you the worst first, an awful deal, a cruel option, an impossible task,
Then they offer something better, and suddenly you're grateful. Grateful for the cage that isn't on fire. That's the contrast principle. They don't sell you what's fair, they sell you what looks better than the alternative. Salesmen, politicians, lovers, they all play this game. A company offers a fake discount. A politician promises less corruption. An abuser hurts you, then softens. And your brain, desperate for relief, mistakes it for kindness. Contrast turns cruelty into comfort. You don't ask, "Is this good?" You ask, "Is this better than before?" That's how they trap you. To escape, you must learn to see things alone, not in comparison. Ask yourself, if I hadn't seen the worst, would I still accept this? Manipulators survive on your gratitude for crumbs. But once you stop comparing pain to worse pain, you'll stop mistaking manipulation for mercy. Intermittent reinforcement. They don't always hurt you. Sometimes they love you, just not when you expect it. That's what keeps you addicted. Intermittent reinforcement is the science of unpredictability. You never know when the reward will come, so you keep chasing it. It's why gamblers can't stop pulling the lever. It's why social media keeps you scrolling. It's why you stayed in that relationship long after it stopped feeling safe. When love, praise, or kindness becomes unpredictable, the brain starts working overtime. It tells you, if I just try harder, maybe I'll earn it again. And so you keep trying. Manipulators use this to perfection. They alternate between warmth and coldness, making you mistake chaos for passion. The rare moments of tenderness feel holy because they come after storms. It's not love, it's dependency. A psychological slot machine that trades your peace for hope. The same trick thrives in workplaces. Your boss ignores you for months, then praises you once, and you feel loyal again. You keep overworking, chasing that single drop of recognition. Intermittent reinforcement doesn't just control behavior, it rewires emotion. It teaches you to crave the unpredictable. To escape it, you must let go of hope for inconsistent rewards. Ask yourself, do they love me consistently or only when I'm useful? Real affection is steady. Manipulated affection is chaos wearing perfume. And when you finally stop chasing the unpredictable, you'll realize peace was never supposed to be earned. It was supposed to be given. Fear, then relief trick. First they scare you. Then they save you. And you thank them for it. The fear then relief trick plays on your body's deepest instincts. When fear spikes, your mind panics, logic shuts down. And when the threat disappears, you become vulnerable, almost euphoric. That's when they strike. A police officer pulls you over, lets you sweat, then lets you go with a warning. And suddenly, you're grateful. A manipulative partner threatens to leave you, then forgives you, and you feel lucky. A government tightens control, then loosens it, and the people call it mercy. Fear breaks your defenses. Relief seals the loyalty. You associate them with safety, even though they caused the fear in the first place. That's how abusers become saviors, how oppressors become protectors, how manipulation becomes devotion. The key is always emotional whiplash. Instill panic, then offer peace. Your gratitude blinds you to the architecture of control. To defend yourself, never forget who caused the fear. True comfort doesn't come from the same hand that hurt you. If someone consistently creates chaos, then rescues you from it, you're not being loved, you're being managed. They don't need to cage you if you've learned to walk back into it on your own.
Information overload. They don't silence you, they drown you. Not with threats, not with violence, but with data. Facts, opinions, contracts, offers, updates. A storm of noise disguised as knowledge. You think you're informed, but you're being buried alive. Every headline screams for your attention. Every choice branches into 1,000 meaningless directions. And your brain, desperate to keep up, begins to flicker. That's how they win. When your mind is overloaded, it stops thinking critically. It stops analyzing. It starts obeying. You no longer decide what's true. You choose what's easiest. You default to authority, to repetition, to comfort. And the manipulators, whether they wear suits, smiles, or uniforms, lead you exactly where they want you. In boardrooms, they hide deception inside complexity. Contracts layered with jargon so dense you surrender before understanding. So you sign, not because you agree, but because you're exhausted. Banks, insurance firms, and tech giants thrive on this fog. They know you won't read the fine print. They know you'll accept the terms just to make the noise stop. Governments and media do it too. They flood you with stories until truth feels optional. You stop questioning because the chaos never ends. Contradictions become the norm. Confusion becomes the weapon. And when you're too tired to fight, you start accepting whatever feels familiar. Even in relationships, this tactic works. A manipulative partner overwhelms you with accusations. A toxic boss drowns you in tasks. A narcissist changes subjects faster than you can breathe. You lose track of what's real, and confusion becomes control. That's the goal, not to convince you, but to wear you down. The more overloaded you are, the easier you are to guide. Because a tired mind doesn't resist, it submits. If you want to break free, slow down. Strip the noise to its bones. Ask, what's the core truth here? When urgency meets confusion, step back. Because real decisions are never rushed, only manipulated ones are. Information overload doesn't look like control. It looks like education. But its purpose is to make you mistake exhaustion for understanding. And once that happens, they no longer have to hide the chains. You'll wear them willingly. Ben Franklin effect. They say kindness builds connection, but they don't tell you how it can also build control. The Ben Franklin effect is simple. If someone does a favor for you, they start to like you more. Not because of who you are, but because their mind refuses to believe they'd help someone they dislike. So they rewrite the story. They decide you must be good. They decide they must care. And that's how the trap closes. It began as an observation. Benjamin Franklin once asked a political rival to lend him a rare book. The man obliged. Franklin returned it with gratitude, and the rivalry quietly melted away. Because when people invest in you, their brain protects that investment. They begin to believe in you, even if they shouldn't. That's why manipulators love this trick. They won't start by asking for everything. They'll start small. A favor, a bit of help, something harmless. Then another, and another. You start saying yes out of habit. You tell yourself it's kindness, but deep down, it's conditioning. Leaders, con artists, even brands use it masterfully. A free sample, a quick survey, a small request. Each one binds you tighter. Once you've given your time, your effort, your empathy, you'll give more to avoid admitting it was wasted. Toxic people exploit this endlessly. They start small. A ride, a favor, a little advice. And before you know it, your energy becomes their currency. They raise the stakes slowly, and by the time you notice the pattern, it already feels normal. To break it, you have to see it. If someone always asks and rarely gives, if their gratitude fades the moment you stop helping, you're not in a relationship. You're in a transaction disguised as friendship. The Ben Franklin effect isn't evil, but in the wrong hands, it's hypnosis. They don't charm you. They make you do the charming. And the more you serve them, the deeper your mind buries the truth. You were never doing them a favor. You were proving your own compliance. Pygmalion effect. There's a strange power hidden in expectation. Treat someone like they're capable, they rise. Treat them like they're worthless, they fall. That's the Pygmalion effect. Belief becomes prophecy. In a classroom, it begins with a lie. A teacher is told that certain students are gifted. In truth, they were chosen at random. But by year's end, those students outperform everyone else. Why? Because belief changed behavior. The teacher gave them more time, more patience, more faith, and they became what they were believed to be. Faith shapes reality, and that's beautiful, until someone decides to weaponize it. A manipulative leader will tell you, "You have so much potential, if only you tried harder." A partner might say, "You could be perfect if you just listened more." The praise sounds loving, but hidden in it is control. They build an ideal version of you and make you chase it. You start molding yourself to fit their image, sacrificing your own identity for approval. The expectation becomes a leash. You stop asking who you are and start asking who they want you to be. That's the dark side of belief, when ideal becomes manipulation. When "I see greatness in you" really means "become what serves me." And yet, this same power can free you if you turn it inward. Believe in your worth, not their version of it. Set expectations that lift, not chains that bind. Because the person who defines your potential controls your reality. Make sure it's you.